Okay, here we go in today's mini lecture. So you'll remember that yesterday we challenged the introduction paragraph of our essay. I've just been doing some rechecking through the novel over the last 40 minutes. I've just kind of reread some sections and looked through my notes and improved upon my active reading notes. And remember that this is one of the strategies that we use to help prepare ourselves when we're going to be writing the essays. You need to be actively reading the novel. And what I do is I just, if I know what my themes are that I'm going to be reading, going to be writing on, as I'm reading, I will look for those kind of sections that talk about that particular uh, thing that I want to focus on. So, and then I'll make notes with the page numbers beside. So here we go. As I remember, what I've always said is a good strategy is that you should always reread the essay prompt before we start, and then it's not a bad idea to look at the work that you did yesterday. That'll help you to make sure that your writing is going to be continuous and smooth. So let's jump right in doing exactly that. So here's our prompt. Write an analysis essay about The Alchemist in a proper APA format. This would be italicized and the whole thing would be double spaced as well, right? This essay will be written in APA format, which means it will be double spaced. Use APA citation support and follow the structured essay pattern. Each main body paragraph should have at least 2 to 3 citations that provide supporting evidence to your main ideas. The length of the essay will end up being between 600 and 900 words. We will be working on this writing project during this period here at the end of the semester for the next couple of weeks, and it will account for 20% of your grade. Now, I also added the yesterday I added another document to the website that looks at the marking scheme for the essay. So we can just quickly take a look at that. So you can see that the first draft of each of the paragraphs will be worth 2%. So first draft essentially is worth 10%, and then the revisions, second or third draft, depending on how much time you have to put into it, will be worth an additional 10% for the redrafting process. And in particular, I'll be looking to see that you have been able to make use of the corrections I'm providing. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to finish our submittable drafts by June the 24th. Okay, so that's just something else to be aware of. Because this essay is an analysis essay, you will investigate the novel through a 3-window lens of analysis. So again, we're using that same format where we try to focus on some story element, some literary element or literary story device that we can focus on. So let's see how the introduction paragraph turned out. Now you'll notice I've also put in a prospective title. So as your thinking process continues, you might come up with some possible titles. It's a good idea to have a title that's catchy, right? So here I've included my prospective title, which is The Fiery Path of Santiago. And this kind of will lead through some of the themes that I'm going to discuss. As well, the phoenix burst into flames, but from the fiery ashes awoke the newborn version of the young man. In Coelho's Alchemist, Santiago must overcome a host of challenges as he travels towards his ultimate goal. But that goal is veiled behind the worldly distraction of his treasure. He will have to become the phoenix and transcend the gold that he thinks he seeks to find the gold that was actually buried within himself if he wants to reach the actual peak that he desires. Now we're moving into the thesis statement here. Santiago's journey tests his character and ultimately forces him to transform in order to achieve his personal legend. Moreover, his progress to realization can be tracked through character development, omens, and the theme of achieving potential. So character development is the paragraph topic that we are going to challenge today. So as I was doing my reading, I was trying to find things about Santiago's character, who he was at the beginning of the story and how he changes as the story progresses. So that's something that's really important to consider. So I've got my novel beside me and my notes. We've reviewed the prompt. Just give me one quick second. I need to grab one more page of notes. Okay, here we go. We're back at it. So remember, when we're writing, we also want to use APA citation support to show evidence of our chosen focal points, right? So whatever concept we're trying to put forward, we need to support that with evidence from the book, right? So I'm starting by talking about the character of Santiago. So we know that he's brave because he's walked away from the path his family had set out for him, right? Um, but let's see here. What am I looking for? Yes. So this is actually from the middle of page 10. If I read the book, it says, "We have to be prepared for change," he thought, and he was grateful for the jacket's weight and warmth. He's thinking about how the jacket is good at night when it keeps him warm, but it's a burden during the day when it's hot, right? So this shows us that he is a thinking character. This shows us that he is thinking about his future, and that he is right at the beginning of the novel, he is ready for change. So this is going to set up the discussion that I want to have about his character development, which is this is the topic. So I should remember that within the topic sentence, Santiago grows and develops as a character throughout the course of The Alchemist. So a really good thing to remember. So what I did there is I kind of jumped the gun, right? I started to get right into the guts of my paragraph without reminding myself that you do need a topic sentence that's going to very clearly state your purpose of that paragraph, right? So, and that should be connected directly to what you've set forward in your thesis statement. So now I've reminded myself of this, and I've added in a very clear topic sentence here. And then good, so now this makes a little bit more sense, and you can see that it makes sense to start talking about him at the beginning, and then obviously we're going to move forward and to talk about how he continues to change and grow. So for the purpose of our citations, we're going to use I know that there are different publication dates at the beginning of our novel. When you're doing a citation, always use the publication date of the book that you're reading, not the original date of publication, because the page numbers might change through the editions. So use the date of the current book you're reading, just to keep it perfectly lined up. Okay, so that's my first citation, which I took from page 10, and I pulled that out of my active reading notes. I've got them right here beside me. And so remember, with our triads, we set up the idea. So we have our content or our concept sentence. And then we move into the paraphrase sentence, which either will have an integral or non-integral citation. This one is a non-integral citation. But now I need to include my analysis, right? That's the aspect of the triad: concept, support, analysis. Good. So this would basically from this point to from here to here, this is our first triad of support.